Today we're going to talk savings goals. Specifically, how can you set them and actually hit them even if the things you want are a little bit expensive. We're talking house down payments, vacation savings, all those really good things that you want but need a couple $1,000s to afford, or more than a couple thousand. So let's get started. When you're setting your savings goals, the very first thing is actually the most fun part of the whole process. Figure out what's important to you. If you have a list of things that you want to do, write them all down and look at them all together. So you want to go on vacation, but you also want to buy a house, and you also want to get a dog, and you would also like to save money for retirement someday. Write them all down in one place and look at them all together as the list of things that are important to you that you want to spend money on. And no, you absolutely don't need to give up lattes, and that will never be said in this video because I'm drinking one right now. Now that you've got your list, it's time to sort them in terms of the order of priority. Let's say your number one priority is actually that big dream vacation you want to take next year. So that gets the number one spot, and then let's say it's buying a house in 5 years, and then it's retirement. They're all important, they all made the priority list, but there's just, an order that you're gonna tackle them in, and that's totally fair. Sidebar, I would love to hear what you're saving for. So as you're going through this video and making your list of what you're saving for and what your priorities are, I would love it if you shared one in the comments. So like, I'm saving for a dream vacation, or I'm saving to buy a house, or I'm saving so I can get a dog someday. I love talking savings goals, but honestly, the money part is just the money part. The fun part is what you're gonna use the money to buy or have or do in your life. So that's really what I wanna hear in the comments. If you can take 10 to 15 seconds and shoot me a note of what you're savings for. Once you've got them all ranked by order of priority, it's time to start estimating costs. And this is both the interesting part where, the rubber hits the road and you start to look at the actual dollar value of those savings goals, but it can also be a really fun part because you get to do all the research and you get to look at homes in your area if buying a house is on your list and see how much it's gonna cost. Or you get to plan out your vacation and see how much all the things and amazing adventures you wanna take are gonna cost you. So in this step, for every goal that's on your priority list, do the research and assign a dollar value to how much you're going to need. So it could be different if it's a down payment or a vacation, but tackle each one and come up with a number for your total savings that you need for this goal. Now it's time for timelines. So you have that total dollar value that you need to save to hit this goal. And now it's time to think, okay, well, how long do I actually have to save that much money? And it might be 3 months, could be 3 years, it could be 3 decades if we're talking retirement. But understanding how much each one is gonna cost and how long you have to save up that much money is really the core math of setting a savings goal. It's not hard math, but it is important, and it'll actually give you a lot to think about as you go back and look at that priority list. The final step is to look at how much it's gonna cost, how long you have to save for it, which you just figured out, and then divide the total cost by the number of months that you have to save the money. So maybe you have 3 months to save $300. Easy example, but all you'd have to do is put away $100 a month to save for that goal. Super straightforward, right? It gets tricky when you, let's say, want to save for a house and you want to put a down payment next year and you need $20,000. All of a sudden you're like, oh cool, I need to save like over $1,000 every month to hit that goal on my desired timeline. This is where it gets tricky. What you're gonna do in this situation, if any of the numbers seem like, whoa, like I am never gonna be able to save that much money in that much time, it's time to go back to your priority list. And there are a lot of things you can do to rejig these numbers. Sometimes if a goal isn't gonna make sense in a year, it could make sense in 2 years. There is also the possibility that you rebalance your priorities. So if one of these goals is really time sensitive, you don't have any flexibility in the timeline, and you absolutely need to save that money, can you be flexible on some of your other goals? So if you have savings earmarked for a vacation, but let's say you're pregnant and you need to save the money to have a baby in 9 months, no more, you could reallocate your vacation savings to saving for your baby. There are ways that you can rejig at every step. If you're looking at this list of monthly savings numbers and you're like, wow, that's my whole paycheck, I don't know how I'm gonna do this. So now you're pretty much set. You know how much your goal is gonna cost you, you know when you need to have that money by, and that really easily breaks down into a monthly savings amount. You might run into some issues where you do need to prioritize that. There's only so much money every month to allocate to these different goals, but you're in a really good place to get started. And the best first step that you can take is once you have all these numbers, you've done all this work, like it's right there in front of you, you've done it. The best thing you can do to keep yourself on track over the long term, whether that's 3 months or 3 years, is to set up an automatic savings contribution in your bank account to a separate savings account for each goal. That might seem like total overkill to you, and honestly it does a little bit to me too once you get into the realm of like 5 to 7 savings goals, but it is really helpful. You can name each account so you know exactly why the money is there, which will help you when you go to withdraw it and you're like, oh, but that's my dog's emergency fund, like I really shouldn't be withdrawing that. And you can set up the automatic contributions to each separate account in the dollar amounts that you laid out, so it all happens automatically. There's no worries, you just do it, set it once, and forget about it. And that's how you still have your latte budget and you can drink lattes while filming videos about savings goals, and you know your savings goals are handled in the background. Another bonus is that once they're set up, you really don't have to think about it. So as of today, you could be done, and then in 3 years, you just like open your bank account, you're like, oh look, I have all that money I need to take that dream vacation. If you liked this video, I would love it if you subscribe to the channel, hit the thumbs up button, and again, remember, send me a comment, let me know what you're saving for. I would love, love, love to hear about it.